Hey guys, Daddy-O here from Dad Venture TV. Going to do a quick how to install video on the MORryde, I guess is how it's pronounced, side mount jerry can holders for the Jeep Gladiator and Jeep JL. Just put them on. I love them. Very secure. I've got a jerry can on. I had a jerry can on there. It has the strap holder here, which it comes with a ratchet strap to secure it. Holds it wonderfully. The only thing is that your mirror will hit if you go to full extension on the door. You can only open it to about there, but you can see there is still plenty of room. It's like almost full extension. So for all intents and purposes, it does not interfere with the doors. And when it's, that's only with the can on. What the can is what hits the mirror. With the can off, you can open it to full extension, no worries. It will not hit the jerry can holder itself. So let's talk real quick about the install. First of all, on the passenger side mount, there is a pre-cut hole for the antenna. So I was concerned when I pulled out the driver's side and did the driver's side first that there wouldn't be, and I was gonna have to drill a hole. That concern didn't need to be there. So that's the first thing. Next thing is that on the new model of this, the mount itself does not have to be secured to the plate which attaches to the truck before you attach the plate to the truck. The old model you did because these bolts had nuts on the other side of the plate, so you had to tighten it down and on before you put the whole assembly on. Now they have pre-attached and pre-assembled nuts on the backing plate that these bolts screw into. So you put this on last, okay? So when you pull this out, you're going to find the backing plate, and then you're going to find the jerry can mount. There's going to be 4 bolts. Those are to attach the jerry can mount to the backing plate. There are 2 big bolts that I believe are metric size 13 that are going to replace your 2 torque bolts, because these are not long enough, because as you can see the backing plate comes out a bit. Then there are 2 spacers. There's a black one here, it's a rubber spacer, and there's a white one that you can't really see, maybe you can, down there, that goes in to make it spaced properly. And then these bolts still use the same threads that these torque bolts went into, but they're longer so that they'll screw in. These are too short. The OEM bolts that are down here are too short. So the first thing you do is take off these 2 OEM bolts. You're then going to, if you have a Rubicon with a rock slider, which is that right there, underneath are 4 big M13 head bolts that go up. You're going to take those off, and then there's maybe 8 small M10 head bolts that go this way. And that, you got to take those off, because you need to be able to, you don't have to take the rock slider off entirely, but once all of the bolts are off, you need to just move this down enough so that the backing plate can get on there, because there are 2 of those bolts that go this way, the M10 bolts, that this attaches onto. So you'll see the bolts. Actually, the M10s are nuts. Sorry, not bolts. You're taking the M13 bolts off, but you're just taking the nuts off of the bolts. So the bolt heads will be on going in like this, and then you just make this, pull the rock slider out so you can get enough clearance to put this in, and then line up the holes that are on it to fit through the the bolts through, and then you can attach your nuts back on there. I would recommend, however, before you just get that in on the bolts, and then line up your top here, get your spacers down, put these bolts on first. Then, because you might need to slide this a little, the backing plate on the top a little bit side to side in order to get the holes to mount, to line up. Then tighten down all your bolts on the rock rail. It is easier to do the rock rail if you have a two-person job. One person can just kind of loosen it while the other person puts this on and can guide getting the holes onto the bolts. It is you could do it as a one-person job though. So so that's it. Put these on with the spacers. Don't forget to put your spacers in first. Screw these in right to the OEM holes. You'll tighten all your bolts down. Then the backing plate is tight. Then you can put the jerry can holder bolts on. I don't know if this is, the instructions are horrible. I don't know if you're supposed to do this, but I put, they had a bunch of washers, big washers as well as lock washers on there. So I put the big washer first so I don't get metal fatigue on the backing, and then a lock washer to help hold it from vibrations. I will tell you, one of these over here on the driver's side broke. Luckily, we had another bolt that has the, oops, sorry about that. It's a hex wrench, but at least it works for the time being. Fits it's the right size with the same thread pattern. But one of these broke, so I'll probably get replacements for all 8 of them and get heads that match. One nice thing about it is that is the view from the front, so you can see that there is not much that sticks out without the jerry can on above the fender, so it should not interfere with fuel consumption very much at all. And there you go, that's looking straight on. And then finally, the last really cool thing about it is that if you wanted to drive around town without the jerry can holder on it, because the bolts for these are pre-attached, you could take the jerry can holder off and keep it in your garage or whatever. Just don't lose the bolts, obviously. And then when you're ready for a trip, just attach it. I mean, it's about a 4-minute job, just putting these in. So if you didn't want this sticking out while you're driving around town all the time, that is certainly an option. So I can say, for those considering it, very happy with it. I've already put a jerry can in it. Holds it secure. Strap works great. Put one on each side. You're balanced, and also it's holding your water down, relatively low. At least it's not up there on the roof. So very happy with it. Seems like quality construction. Powder coating looks good, and like I say, other than these bolts with that one breaking, and who knows, maybe it was just a one-off, but I'll probably replace these 4 at least. But I think it's a good product, and it's a good way to carry water or fuel while you're out there on the trail. So that's all I got on this one. Hope this helps those considering it, and then those installing it, and I'll see you out there on the trail. Peace.